Welcome to The Naked Truth. And now, your host, Brigitte Barclay.
Hi guys, welcome to The Naked Truth. So it's a good evening, America, and a very early morning in England here. I'm your host, Brigitte Barclay, and this is The Naked Truth. Right, tonight I'm going to bring on a Mike Paterson. Mike has been in research for 15 years and for 10 years dealing with Sasquatch and family. I know it's controversial, guys, and I've had lots of people typing, "What are you doing?" But believe me, I'm going to say some things that's happened to me tonight, and it's due to listening to Mike's YouTube videos. So I know that these exist, just like craft, just like UFOs. So I am going to now put on a very short 1 minute 55 intro on Mike Paterson, and then we're going to bring in Mike Paterson. So Race, go ahead with the intro. Thank you.
Let's move your audio up and underneath or not. I gotta put your... Oh, hey buddy. Nefertia, how are you, my friend? Oh, he's right here. Wow, this is amazing. Oh my God. Hello, my friend. Oh, I'm so happy you're doing this. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Wow.
Marble!
I love you, buddy.
Marble!
Marble. Marble. You're saying marble. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah. Woo!
Oh, man. Wow. Oh, thank you, my friend.
Mike! Mike! Mike!
Well, there you go. That's Nefertia saying hi to Mike, and I'm going to welcome Mike Paterson. Mike, come on in. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Brigitte, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Now, I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that I'm doing this because for me, it's about UFOs and about beings and all of the people in ufology that I deal with. Now, I came across you in 2012 on YouTube in lockdown. I was still working in lockdown, but you were my sanctuary that I could switch off to with what I heard. Now, I heard Nefertia, and there's so much more to it on your YouTube channel. I want everyone to start from the bottom, to start your story from the bottom and work up to now so they can see why there's a progression in Nef and the family talking with you and your interaction. So, Mike, please explain yourself in your research for 15 years and then the 10 years with Nef, please. And then we're going to start with some audios and various things.
Okay. Well, it really started back when I was, I guess, 10 years old. And maybe even before that. I think there might have been an incident before that where I was camping with my father and a friend of his up in the North Bay region in Ontario. And I remember we were camped outside of there was an abandoned gold mine. And I just have a vague memory in the morning. We were in a little pup tent from what I remember. I might have been 9 years old then, maybe even younger. And, my dad's sleeping beside me. And I just remember the tent being pushed in, like a finger was pushing on the wall. It's a vague memory. But at the age of 10, I had an incident where I had a visual. I was dropped off down the road. My family was at a chalet for the weekend, extended family, aunts, uncles, grandparents, all that stuff, cousins. And so I was dropped off by myself to do some fishing. And remember dusk started setting in, and there was like a campground there, and some families, around there camping. And dusk had set in, so I started walking back. And I remember, I don't know how far up the road it was, but could have been 50 yards, maybe 100 yards. I'm not sure. This is over 40 years ago, right?
Mhm.
And I remember it was at the right side of the road, and I saw something standing there. As soon as I saw it, it turned and stepped off into the brush at the side of the road and was gone. And I just freaked.
Was it forestry, heavy forestry then?
From what like that region is, it still is. I think it's probably been developed a bit, but it's still heavily forested in that region, right? That was up, it was Denbigh, Ontario, DenBeigh is, I think, how you spell it.
Lost me at the day.
It's called the Swiss Inn. That's where I stayed,
okay.
which has been shut down for years now. But when I saw what I told everybody was a bear, I ran back to the campground and got. I remember walking up to this campfire, this family sitting around there, and I just remember they had this look of shock on their face because I couldn't speak. I was traumatized. I was pale white. And I finally got the word help out, and I told everybody I got chased by a bear. I'm a 10-year-old kid, right? And it ended up the father drove me back up the road, and I pointed out where I saw the bear. And fast forward, like when they dropped me off, my family knew something had happened, right? I told everybody I got chased by a bear. So I basically buried that. So fast forward to 2008, October 25th, and I had met somebody through comments on a YouTube video. Well, first of all, I was spending time in the woods with a camera. I bought some camera gear, taught myself photography, and was spending my time off in nature and looking for photo opportunities, wildlife, nature. I always like to see how close I can get to whatever critters and try and get a good photo. And I'm quite convinced at this point I was being watched. And I think they planted a thought at this point. I think that's what happened, that they planted a thought to start looking for them. Sasquatch just had this epiphany, and so I did. I started looking into the subject, and the very first time I went up to a place near the Bon Echo region in Ontario, which is, I think, about 3 hours roughly northeast of Toronto, and again, very heavily wooded area. It was actually on a lake called Lake Mississauga, and I had an employer at the time who had a cottage on the lake, and the other side was nothing. It was just wilderness, right? And he told me about a camp spot that snowmobilers would use in the wintertime. So I went there with a good friend of mine who I ended up living with this. I've known him for probably 30 years now, a good buddy of mine, Kyle. I had actually moved in to his place for a couple of years throughout this, and he was really skeptical when I moved in. By the time I left, they gave him so much. They even walked across the room and
that changes.
Physical contact, mind speak, all kinds of stuff they gave him, right? But it was so that was the very first time on that lake. we had heard one screaming off in the distance in the morning. So it was the very first time I went looking for them. And then the second time was October 25th, 2008. I had met up with an acquaintance at the time who was kind of showing me the ropes. And he met up with me. We talked back and forth for a bit, and we finally met up. You know, it was I think maybe a month or so since we had last talked, and he contacts me again. I said, okay, let's do it this weekend. That was October 25th. Okay, let's meet at noon at this specified spot, and we did. 4.5 hours later, you know, he's banging on some trees, showing me some stuff. And 4.5 hours later, I hear he picks up a rock, fist-sized rock, goes up and smacks a tree a few times, and then suddenly, I remember it was overcast, and these it's an area maybe a couple hundred, little more than that, hectares, you know, a forest patch, right, with trails throughout. People would walk their dogs, locals, and also horseback riding through there. But it was.
We are going to state that it's not just about forestry. You can have these experiences other places, not just in the forest and woods, right?
Oh, they can go anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're interdimensional.
So it was after he picked up this rock and he smacks this tree a few times. Suddenly, I hear like this triple. It was like really rapid, hollow sounding chest thump, you know, almost comical sounding like, and it immediately just didn't sit right with me. Something was weird about it. I'm pretty familiar with the sounds of the woods, and this was just something different. So, you know, I just kind of put my arm up and stop and listen, you know, to get the both of us to be quiet and just listen. Then suddenly 3 giant, massive guttural whoops that were very raspy. And I remember he sounded like 10 feet tall. And I even thought at the time it sounded, it was so pronounced. It sounded like he could speak English. And little did I know. And it was so close. And basically that changed my life right then and there. And I remember there was a lady come walking around the corner with her little dog right after it happened. She was even closer than we were, and it filled the woods. So it was huge sound. So she heard it, right? Yeah. She had no idea, and we just kind of nodded when she walked by, and that was the moment that changed my life. And then it was a week later that I went back by myself, and I had my first instance of high strangeness. So I heard the exact same chest thump tone again. The same thing as I did a week earlier. I was by myself this time. I had my camera, video camera, binoculars, all my stuff, right? And next thing, I'm driving home, not knowing how I had missing time. I don't know how I got there. So the very first 3 times I was given experiences that I, you know.
Okay, so with now, you have had UFO experiences because I've seen your YouTube videos, and you have lots of orb activity as well. So you know, they all go hand in hand. Now, for me, when I stumbled across your YouTube channel, for me it was hearing Neff's voice and, like you say, the English. Now, is it like a child where you and Dwayne, because you've got Dwayne, you go to Dwayne's cottage, is it like Dwayne having a conversation with you? Dwayne says Mike, and then all of a sudden it's like teaching a young child to, you know, keeps hearing the word Mike, and then all of a sudden says Mike. Not just Mike, we've got the word flower, we've got brother, we've got all of the words that you communicate with Neff. It's remarkable, absolutely remarkable. It's just, it's so heartfelt. It really is. So what we're going to do is we're going to play Neff, the first audio of Neff chanting. And there's so much more. There's so much more in Mike's YouTube videos, but we've just put some together, some good ones together. So this is Neff chanting.
No. No. Go! No. Där. Gå. Där. Sätta åt. Ja. Oh. Där. Gå.
I have to laugh that some people think that's fake or they think it's the property owner. It boggles my mind how, the denial is insane. Right?
You can feel it in your heart. You can just so feel it in your heart. Well, I can feel it in my heart. When I first heard that, I just felt it in my heart and thinking, oh my gosh, I know what it's like to be right underneath a craft. I know what it feels like. And actually, I had this talk with somebody. This is going to rumble a few people in ufology, and I'm going to say it now. I've had an experience due to listening to you, Mike, but you don't get gifted when you see a UFO. You don't get gifted when you see beings or have experiences with beings. But let me tell you, you get gifted when you have an experience with an interdimensional other being and feel so compassionate with so much love. Undeniable. You don't get that with a UFO, not like what I've had. So I've had the differences now. So this is what I'm thinking. Oh my God, this is why I love watching your channel, and we've stayed in contact, and this is why I wanted you on. Not this is part one, and you're gonna have a part two. So Neff, how did Neff start communicating with you? Saying, I mean that seems like he's just like a young child, just playing, doing something, just being happy, just amusing himself by the sounds of it, right?
Yeah, when this started, he was 17 years old. I got his age finally at 25. So
you do writing. You write to him, don't you? You do. You've got like a chalkboard where you write things.
Chalkboard, sketch pad. Yeah. That started out. The written communication started in the woods, moved to the front of the cottage, and now everything it goes on indoors. It's all done indoors.
So it's
the gifting even at this point is all indoors.
Well, I know I've been gifted indoors, but so in the mediumship world, it's not unfamiliar to be what they call automatic writing. So as a message would be given to you. So there's nothing woo woo about this. That this is how you do it. So let's go to him.
Sorry, just to interject.
Yeah.
That's not what it is, though, right? I'm asking a question out loud, writing it down.
Yeah.
And they love the element of
response back.
They love the element of surprise, right? So they don't let you see what they're doing when they do that. Although we have pretty much caught them numerous times, just at that split moment when they're finished or it's just happened. We hear you hear things happening indoors, right? So they still after 10 years they're so extremely elusive and secretive, right? It's
magical. Well, it is magical. I mean, well, it's a bit like, I suppose, the same as the footprints that we'll get into. It happens right in front of your eyes, or literally you look away and there they are. But we'll go see your footprints in a minute. So let's go to the second one, Race of It's Raining. And you can talk about how you do your audios in a minute. Do you want to do the other one, Race?
Right.
He really loves your name.
that was the very first time he called out my name. So it was after 8 months of we knew their presence was there, and I would put out audio recorders. Dwayne was recording audio at the same time back then as well, and I'd pat my chest and say my name, and I go say Mike, my, and I would,
So you can hear the vibration then. So he can hear the
well,
vibration.
just so he knew how to form it with,
Mm.
with his mouth. I, I would do the same with other words like flower. And
Yeah, I know. That's
I have
amazing
him
stuff.
the first time, it might even be on one of the audios I sent you where the
Yeah,
very first
I've got
time,
that.
yeah, the very first time he tried to say flower, he actually chuckles to himself because,
Yeah, I know.
he couldn't
It's
control
silly.
his voice, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
takes it, it takes a bit for him to control the tone of his voice. He's got a lot of
Yeah.
power in his lungs, right?
You've got one where he's talking with you and he's bellows, and that's you two communicating, talking backwards and forth, and that's one of my favorites. So we're going to do the third one, the shout out race, the third one, please.
And that was the beginning of May 2013. That was when the
long time
vocals
ago.
started, right? That's one of my favorites. I love that piece.
There is another one that's a lot longer, and he's got another bellow at the end of it, quite similar to that on one of your videos.
Yeah, there's
a
lot of audio.
Yeah.
There's a lot of audio documented over the years. There's a lot of stuff documented indoors at this point, right? I just don't post it openly anymore, right?
Yeah, and in the car. Yeah, right.
And in the car, yeah, we finally caught a vocal in the car, and that was Ninyanin.
Yeah,
That dude is trouble. I was going to say little
he's
dude
a troublemaker.
is trouble.
Yeah,
he's
you
bigger
told
than
me
I am.
Yeah,
And he loves it. And I found out he loves magic mushrooms. So he took them right out of my bag last visit.
He's microdosing.
No, he's not microdosing.
Oh yeah.
I would to cure an allergy attack, and that's how I learned he liked mushrums because they disappeared.
That's right. You dropped a few. Or did you leave some for him?
And I recorded him running through the woods yelling. That same. Actually, I think he woke me up about 7 a.m. with that.
Right. There are people out there going to go like, I don't understand this. This is beyond me. This is like really, stupid. But listen, that's their bag. I get it. You get it. And there's lots of people that absolutely get this. It's like ufology. Not everyone believes in UFOs. Right. Now, this is another really great one. This is him saying Mike, and this is him saying flower, because you're gifting him. You're gifting him flowers, or he's gifting you. So
actually, sorry, I just want to explain that.
Yep, please do.
I was running audio mics through my sunroof. He had placed a tree limb on top of my car, and at the same time he said flower. So I thought that was
it's a bloody big one. If that's what he thinks a flower is, a branch.
So it was the next visit that I took a flower in my hand. I walked up to a tree and I put my hand on the tree and held the flower and I said flower and tree, and he started saying both those words. He loved the words flower and tree. Yeah. So I was just showing him like, it's not this big tree limb, dude. So flower.
But he's big, so to him that's small. But okay, right. Let's go for Mike. Oh, God, then carry on. No, carry on. Say something. Yeah.
It just, it was that where he basically started saying the word flower after that, right? He even gave me a drawing. He drew a flower and signed it for me, which was one of the first drawings I got from him. Not the first, but one.
This is where people need to go back to your YouTube, start at the bottom and work their way up. Don't go in at the top and think, oh God. No, you've got to see the progression in all of this. All right.
Yeah, this is a very developed situation over 10 years.
Exactly.
It's a baby step process with their people.
Oh, yeah.
It takes time. It takes years to develop a relationship with them, and you have no control. All you can do is show your interest, show up, and persist, and they will do the same.
Well, it's exactly the same when you're having a UFO encounter. When you've had quite a few UFO encounters, you learn how to do it differently the next time. Obviously you're more confident, but every UFO encounter is totally different. So you're communicating, interacting, or you can say wait, and then you can get somebody else to come and watch and observe as well. So it's it's amazing that we're all teaching each other things now as well, you know, with you know, like you're saying, like flower and tree, you know. I can't remember him saying tree. I would have loved to have heard that. I'll have to go back through it. So all right, let's hear the next one, which is Mike and a flower again. Please, Ray.
Mike. Oh.
That was the one. That was the one I was talking about. Yeah. At the end, he's basically saying flower without the F. And
Yeah. I know and you can hear the depth of it, though, can't you?
yeah, he's got some lungs on him.
He's definitely got some lungs on him. So and also, you know, when you go through all your YouTube videos, you're out there in all conditions. So you're out there in the heat, you're out there with the gnats, you're out there in all of the seasons, you know, in the snow, because we're going to go to the footprints as well. But it's got to be, you know, how many audios do you set up usually?
Well, okay, you know, throughout the winter, it's basically I'm in a cottage at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Way back, I used to set the tent up in the cold, you know, -20, just to entice activity in vocals. And then once he would, because there was a pattern, right? He'd wait till I get in my tent and then he would start up. And it got to the point where I'm just getting into my tent and he starts up. And then it got to a point where one night, I remember it was -18 Celsius, and I crawled into my tent. He started up right away with his vocals. So when he finished, I'm like, okay, I'm going back down to the cottage. There's a hill there. So I went down, looked around my car, and I saw fresh footprints. So I knew I had amazing audio because he was right there beside my car. My microphones are right there. And that was the very first time, I believe that was the very first time that he then yelled out as I was standing there. And then it was like about 9 consecutive visits where he started vocalizing when I was right there. You know, he might have been 30, 40 feet away, but you can't see him, right? They're in an invisible state. They are interdimensional, which I know through many incidents, right? Physical contact so many times, right?
Right. So I got to speak with you in a couple of years ago, and it was sort of in the summer. I had been watching you, and I had, you know, in the evening I would put one of the audios on. It'd be my way to switch off from what was going on in my life, which wasn't particularly great. So it was just a way of carrying myself into something positive. And I had listened the night before to your one. What's the marble one called? What you have? What's the marble YouTube video called?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's a few, but there's it's titled something. I can't remember what the title is. Anyway, I'd been watching that one the night before, and I got up the next morning. I woke up. So I've been listening about marbles. Okay, are you gifting marbles? Crystal boulders, I think it's called. Is it that right? Is that right?
Yeah, that would be the
yeah. Okay, so I'd been listening to that one the night before. I'd listened to it a few times, but I'd listened to that one the night before. I woke up in the next morning, and you know, I haven't told many people this live, so you know, this is a first off, and I told you before, Mike. And I woke up in the morning. I had to get ready to go for work. My makeup bag was in front of the window. I went to the window and went into my makeup bag, looked in the corner, and there was Race. Show them the picture. If you're there. Race, are you there? Oh, I don't know where he is. Is he gone? There you go. Right. I got gifted a marble in my makeup bag. Now, that's a porcelain pottery dish that my brother made, so I just put it in there. But you wouldn't have seen it but it was a big marble. So when I took it out I looked at it for some while in my makeup bag thinking, are you joking me? Are you joking me? Now, I didn't get the same response like I would when I see a UFO or an orb. I was like, are you joking me? And I took it out and I picked it up and I turned around. I was just about going to say something. And I just had the most overwhelming feeling of love. And I really needed to feel that. And it was absolutely phenomenal. All throughout the day, I was just beaming, thinking, oh my God, oh my God. And I kept thinking, oh my God, I wouldn't contact you because I just thought, maybe it's me manifesting something. But I thought, oh my God, I was just caught up in it. And then I had another one, which was a week after race. It's the weaving, which is right now. It doesn't look much, but let me tell you, I had cleaned the bedroom, I'd cleaned the bathroom, I made sure everything was absolutely perfect. I went down the stairs, came back up the stairs, and that was on the floor. And obviously I've still got all of them, but it was intricately done. Okay, it doesn't look like a corn dolly, what we call a corn dolly, but it was there. It wasn't there when I went downstairs. And I had been listening to one the night before, or the night before that, I think it was, 2 nights before that, about weavings, and I couldn't believe that. I'm just going to go for one more, and I want the rest of the floor to be yours. One more. This is unbelievable. As if it is. Yeah, go for it. Brace. The feet. Right, listen. I know it's remarkable. I'm an experiencer and I don't know why I get given these things, but so I've had the marble, I've had the weaving, and I can't remember. I'd have to go back for the photograph to see the date or the stamp of it. I had gone out to the garage, to the side door to go and get the laundry out. And as soon as I opened the door, I saw that. Now, the middle one on the right-hand side is my foot. But those two at the back and at the front are not my feet. So I had opened the door and I'd seen those and I just said, whoa, stay there. I said, look, I haven't got my phone and I don't have a measuring stick. I don't know what you call those, tape measure. Stay there. Don't dematerialize or anything. So I ran back to the house, got my phone, took that picture, measured it. I then went behind and then I took my shoe off, and that's my print on the right-hand side. It's the same size as me, sort of thing. I'm size 5. I certainly don't have 3 things at the front. I don't know what toes at the front, but I know that they're not like Nefertiti's and Nefertiti's family, but they 3, the marble, the weavings, and that are from me listening to your YouTube video. And so these are interdimensional beings are now entering my house, my domain. So it's remarkable and I'm blessed. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I haven't had anything since. That was a couple of years ago, but that was just remarkable. So there you go.
What's interesting that with the marble thing and that specific video that you had mentioned was that was a friend of mine, Leanne.
That's right. I was going to talk about
I had put out two marbles that I was going to keep because I liked them so much. And I was by myself when I did this in my tent spot, not by Dwayne's cottage, but still in Neff's home area. And I decided, no, I'm going to leave them. And it was just a few days later. I think it was my birthday too. And
better.
I was talking to Leanne, and she had told me at her cottage that this blue marble had shown up, and she doesn't remember putting anything out like that. And at the same time, the ones that I put out disappeared. And I'm like, wait a sec. Hey, if you find another one, and she calls me back, she says, she forgot that, a couple days before she had. So she found 2 exactly like I had left. Mm-hmm. And this is like several hours drive away, right? Mm-hmm. So she ended up getting 2 marbles that I'm convinced they're the same ones, that they look exactly the same, that got put out by me in my spot, showed up in her spot, and then you watched that video, and it's a very similar occurrence, basically, right? It's not dealing with the same marbles, but how they show up on the other side of the world, basically, this time.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like they can go anywhere. I mean, you
Yeah,
know, they. Yeah, I mean, it's like, let's say when I lived out in the States. I mean, I don't, this is just an example. I lived out in America, which I really did. But let's just say I saw my mum. She appeared. Both my parents have passed away. So, they can go anywhere. Craft can go anywhere. Beings can go anywhere. Sasquatch can go anywhere. It was remarkable. It was a big marvel as well. It wasn't one of the small ones. It was one of the big ones. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So yes, and that's when I got in contact with you, saying, "Listen, okay, I've had this, and now I've had that. What do you think?" And you said to me about Leanne that because I'd seen it in a video actually as well, that she had that experience, which was remarkable. So
You're not the first one either
I know.
that has told me about things happening after watching those videos, or just people that I've dealt with, like
Why do you think I'm doing this today? Why do you think I'm doing this today? Because I want to help you. I want to help everybody that really wants to have an interaction with something. Because like I said to you, 30 years ago, I was poo-pooed in ufology for me stepping forward. I'd have the haters and all of that. I've had a few haters on tonight. What on earth are you doing? Why are you doing this? I'm doing it because I have experienced this through listening and watching you on your YouTube channel. So it's really important that other people now start watching and having these experiences. It's time to let's just be truthful.
Yeah, it's a shame there's people that they're so close-minded. It's a shame because they'll never get anything, right?
They're bad people and they don't deserve, that's for sure. That's a big
Gibson here.
Gibson. Mine's asleep. He's a big cat.
He's not that big really. He's a good boy.
Yeah.
He's cute. Okay?
Dad, what are you doing?
Look how cute that is, man. That is so cute. It's the epitome of cuteness, right?
Well, mine's asleep. Mine might come over, but he'll probably come over and switch the computer off if he jumps off, knowing him. So, right. Race always likes it when I say that.
I want people to know too, when I got involved in this, I had no idea what I was dealing with. In fact, I had a do or die mentality at the beginning when I knew I had the real deal. And I was scared shitless. I didn't know if I was going to have a tree come down on the tent or a boulder drop on me and kill me. This was my biggest fear, right?
Yeah, and it's you doing it by yourself. You've got the other. Listen, I'm not going to. I don't like those TV shows that you see on TV about Bigfoot. I just cannot. Right, exactly. Yeah,
ratings and dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, it's just you and Dwayne and family, that are having the weight of your shoulders with this, which is so remarkable. It's not like us in ufology. We got thousands of us. We can all type to each other and say, hey, this and that, and have resources. But for you don't,
There's a lot of people involved. There's a growing number that are gaining contact, that have this ongoing. Obviously, the thing that sticks out with this is the vocalizations that I have recorded. Now the photos that Dwayne took, that so many people call it a mask, and I'm like, well, hey, show me the mask. Come on.
Yeah.
Search the world.
I haven't done that one today because I'm going to bring you back for part 2 in 3 weeks time. So that's going to be
fabulous shots. Sat on them for 3.5 years.
And that says a lot as well. That absolutely says a lot because you don't know what people's reaction is going to be, and you've got to mull everything over in your head. And I think because of your communication with Neff and family, you were told that because you were asking questions, you said that they said that time's not right yet. And then
timing. Yeah. It's all timing with them. Yeah. It's
a bit like Rolex. It's all in the timing. Yeah, definitely.
And so, the last thing I want to do is piss them off, or this is something
They chose you, Mike, for a reason. They chose you for a reason, Mike. So You ain't they're not pissed off. They ain't gonna get pissed off with you. So now, oh, someone's asked. Greg's asked, what mic do you use? Oh, I can see that.
I wish I could afford microphones worth thousands of dollars and to get rid of all that white noise, but I just use Zoom audio recorders. I typically run a couple audio recorders outside, and at this point, I run one indoors as well, considering we've captured vocals indoors many
Yeah.
times at this point. So
And
I basically use a Zoom H1, a Zoom H1N, or a Zoom H2. Those three, and one with a set of extension omnidirectional microphones to bypass, because they're good for capturing surround sound outside. They've worked well for me for 10 years.
Obviously, you're doing hours and hours of audio, so you've got to go through back through those hours and hours of audio, and then probably go back through again and listen to them just in case you've missed something. So the amount of audio.
When I go, like, I might record 8-10 hours in a night, and if I'm running 3 audio recorders, most people will just put them into a program and they'll look at the visual and they'll look for the spikes to see what happens.
You can't. Exactly.
You have to listen to absolutely everything, and then when you hear something, you backtrack a bit and listen again and again and again.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of very small nuances that I've learned. I'm basically I'll never call myself an expert, but as far as the audio goes and knowing what to listen to pick out their activity, I've gotten very good at it.
The thing is, because you've got to it's family to you now, so it's like listening to your child upstairs. You can pick out that one word, so you're totally familiar. Right, what we're going to do is, because we've gone this is why race, I definitely need much a longer show. So right, we've got 15 minutes left. We're going to go through if Race wants to show the first footprint, please. Can't do a Bigfoot without a Sasquatch without seeing a footprint. So talk us through that footprint, Mike, please.
Well, that's my footprint on the left. That's Neff's print on the right. When this first started, right? So he would give us prints. They're all given on purpose.
What size are you feet wise? Let's just have a comparison.
I'm a size 10.
Okay.
His foot's only 12 by 5 inches there, but I've documented 6 inches of growth with 4 different foot sizes over 10 years. So his foot's now 18 by 6 inches, 6 inches on the width. So it's grown significantly. He's probably between 9 and 10 feet tall at this point.
Gosh, I mean, that's uncomprehensible. But with that bellow, and also you have had samples from it as well, haven't you? Like hair samples as well.
You can even see, like, on the very right side of that footprint, on the right edge, where the hair has pushed against the snow.
Oh yeah, the ripple, and the heel is just like, look at the size of that heel, the depth of that heel as well. Oh God. Right, and then you do castings as well. So we got a casting of the next one. So there you go.
16-inch print. That's cast in snow. I didn't get the full width on that, but I got the full length. So that's 16 inches. I think that's from 2020.
Wow, that is quite remarkable as well, isn't it? Really. So I haven't got a clue what my prints were with those 3 things at the front.
They might not even be footprints. They could have just drawn them, basically, because they do that, and they've done that with me many times.
Okay, that's a thought.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a bit like a child spirit. They're playful, aren't they? So
they're very playful.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a next one of Neff growing. So there you go.
I believe that was 2018, and Dwayne and I were outside. I had just arrived, and this basically appeared beside us as we were standing talking to each other. And as I was measuring it, see that little pink flower up at the top of the screen? That was placed in the middle of the print. So I actually just kind of pulled it and threw it off to the side. I turned my head for a second, and then suddenly that it's upside down there. It's like a silk flower. I turned my head for a sec while I was down measuring, and suddenly that was sitting in the middle of the footprint when I looked back.
So sometimes that they literally materialize in front of you as well, right?
Yeah, he's standing right there beside us.
Yeah, and they go nowhere as well. You might get the odd couple, and then they go nowhere, as we all hear.
Yeah, all the prints go nowhere. 100% of them, either single print or short trackways. And I've had nights. I've had nights where there's been 4 family members all leave one single print beside each other, just to show their presence, right? Say hi.
Okay, because we haven't spoke about the other family members yet. Let's give the one last footprint that we've got. Okay, so there's you.
Yeah, that's Neff from his latest, the beginning of April this year. So 18 inches.
Wow.
It was the end. There was only a little bit of snow left, so I didn't cast that because it wasn't very good for casting. But I was so happy to see that. It was the last opportunity to see a footprint for the year.
Yeah, that is quite remarkable. So as much as people, when they when we talk about Bigfoot, this is, to me, it's the vocals that trapped me. And I know that it is amazing to see that to have something materialize in front of you, whether it be, like I say, craft or footprint, or a vocal.
If you had remembered that first print where my footprint was beside it, with where I said the hair pushed against the snow.
Yeah. Look at you, Ray.
My print compared to his, it's not too far off. And then that last one, the last one that you just saw, that's the same. That's from the same individual.
Well,
so he's grown that much in 10 years.
Yeah. Well, he's just like he's just human, right? He's just a different human.
And I have to laugh at science pushing this Gigantopithecus crap, still on TV. Jeff Meldrum and
I don't know. I don't follow anything else. I don't need to follow anything else. That's all shit.
the fact that they try to push this, ape theory still, it's like, give me a look. They're human. They're human types, right? They're not Homo sapien, but they're human types. 100%.
Yeah. So also, like, you've had sample wise, do you keep that to yourself, or do you send it off, or do you know what you think? You know what? I don't deal with it because they're just going to come back. They're either going to lose it, or they're going to come back and say something else. With
what?
So, hair samples.
Oh, I've done that, and I actually ended up getting a Russian geneticist working in a U.S. government lab fired for because he was doing it on the side. It was through a third-party thing, but they weren't too happy when they found out he was analyzing Sasquatch hair that I had collected and sent in.
Because did you say that the Russians are really into this as well?
Oh, yeah, and they're more open to the reality and the truth of all this, right?
So have they got recordings as well?
Yeah, as far as I know, they do. It's they're more open-minded for sure. Compared to just Canada and the U.S. are just pathetic with the science approach to this.
Or the twats that were writing on my Facebook page. I'm sorry, sworn again. I don't care.
Those people too. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said,
they're more of just a nuisance, right?
They are, and it's funny because I totally forgot. We have another audio bee. Yeah, okay, Race, go for another audio. We do actually. Go for it. Yeah.
Close your audio. Underneath of that. Oh, hey, buddy. Nefertiti, how are you, my friend? Oh, he's right here. Wow, this is amazing. Oh, my God. Hello, my friend. Oh, I'm so happy you're doing this. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Wow.
Marble!
I love you, buddy.
Marble.
Marble. Marble. You're saying marble. Thank you, my friend.
Yes.
Oh, man. Wow. Oh, thank you, my friend.
Mike. Mike. Mike.
Do you know what? That is just such trust, Mike, isn't it? You know, that's like you hugging your cat. That's like you hugging your best friend. That is just such trust. Yeah, and you know what? You was laughing. You both were laughing, and that's how heartfelt it is. Thank you guys for saying that. This is why I wanted to put it on, because it really captivates something, and if you resonate with it, please start from the beginning, see Mike's journey in all of this, and I want everybody else to be to have these experiences as well, because this is the way to go. You know, it's about unveiling the truth on all counts. I'm not just going to talk about UFOs all the time and beings. You know, it's going to be lots of different things that we've all experienced, but they are all interdimensional. So, Mike, anything you want to say it now. You've got 4 minutes, buddy. Well, what are you scared? Of course I wasn't scared. It wasn't the
Okay,
beginning.
I saw a question there. Was I scared? Yeah, I had lots of fear at the beginning. It's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I just, um, just jumped in head first and went through the fear, right? Do you think they are what Native American tribes have talked about? Yes,
Yeah.
the natives have always said they're
Sky
interdimensional,
people.
walk between two worlds. Yes, they've always been right. And, the white man is a closed-minded fool. And,
Yep.
they're
We're
starting to
not. We're not.
no, starting to open up, thankfully. And, so like I said, I've been involved in this now for 15 years. It continues, and at this point, it's when we make visits, it's such a easygoing. They're with us the whole time, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Writing out questions, getting some pretty amazing responses to questions. And learning things about their people. And I learned Neff has a family. He has his own woman and
we
children.
haven't touched that. We haven't touched that. So this is going to be part 2. So what I'm going to say, we're going to do a part 2. We have to do a part. This is it can't stop there. And I've said that to a few people. So yeah, we're going to be talking about family. We're going to be talking about photographs, and we're going to bring out more audios as well. So I'm just going to round it up a little bit. Oh, good, because he said he wasn't earlier. Good. I told you would when you honestly listen to the audios.
My YouTube channel, Sasquach Ontario on YouTube. There's a ton of audio through that. It's basically in chronological order of things that have.
Like I say, start at the bottom, guys, and just see the journey. If you want to subscribe to Mike, then you get the hidden perks. I do it because I want to do it, because it is something that is a part of me. And hence the marble, hence the weaving, hence the footprint. Right, I'm going to round this up really quickly, first of all. Right, next week is American Thanksgiving. Not Canadian Thanksgiving, but American Thanksgiving. So we are not on next week, so we will do another show will be placed on. After that, I have Richard Doty, and Richard Doty is a former US Air Force intelligence officer in the Mirage Man, the Unacknowledged, Who Saw the Men in Black, and he's my guest, not next week because it's Thanksgiving, the week after, and that's Richard Doty. So looking forward to that. And then afterwards, you're back because we ain't finished. Mike, so we're going to be back. I think it's on the 6th of December. All right. So plug your YouTube quickly again and your website, Mike.
Oh, yeah, Sasquatch Ontario on YouTube. I have a website. I don't keep it updated like I should. I haven't been on
No,
there.
just go to everyone. Just go to the YouTube. Just go to the YouTube. It's all
Yeah,
there.
basically, I'm on Facebook as well.
Yep.
I post stuff there sometimes. It's under my name, Mike Patterson, one
Yeah.
T.
Yeah. I'm just wondering. I am wondering if Race is on the ball. Race, can you put the first Neff chanting again? Is it too late? Just the last one as we go off for everybody. I wonder if you will. That'll make his brain boggle. Go on, see if you can. The first audio.
The very first audio, B.
Yeah, the first
Okay.
audio.
You want to play that as we go out?
Yes, please, my lovely.
You got it, sugar.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on The Naked Truth. My guest is Mike Paterson from Sasquatch, Ontario. Follow him on YouTube, his YouTube channel. Links are on my page and on his page. Go and follow him. And we're just going to finish off with Neff. And Mike is going to be back in 3 weeks' time for part 2. Thank you, Mike.
And thanks to Mike there for showing up. He's a big supporter. Always.
Well,
Long Island Bigfoot guy.
Yeah, he came on first of all and started talking to Race. Yeah, thank you guys for allowing me into your world as well. So come to my UFO world on Facebook. But go for it, Race.
Go! Now. Oh.